What's up, Mike?
Hey, what's going on, Todd? How's things going, buddy?
Hey,
Yes.
we're on episode 3, buddy.
I like it.
And we have about 300 views every on the day of the recorded podcast. So 300 views in a day. Feel like we're pretty successful.
I'm happy with that, considering we're not really advertising and letting it be known yet that we're out there. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Thank you for watching us.
I hope everyone had a great Christmas. And we're almost out of this terrible, terrible year.
Wow. It's been
2020 has been a roller coaster. Let's hope 2021 is just filled with nothing but
joy.
Good stuff.
Joy.
Pure
joy.
All right, so the
Let's
NBA,
jump into it, baby.
Yeah, the
Oh,
NBA.
hang on a minute. Guys, look here.
Yeah.
2 years on the council, and this is what they gave him for a going away present.
Love it.
Thanks, Mike Taylor.
Thank you. So NBA, we're in full swing already, and it's been kind of crazy at the beginning. Any initial reactions from the first week? Like,
I've been really shocked at some of the scores of the games.
Yeah,
just some of the blowouts.
Right. The Clippers.
I mean, obviously the Clippers and the Mavs, but
getting smacked.
last night I watched the Suns and the Pelicans, and the Suns flat out handled the Pelicans.
Yeah,
and
they
had
did.
you told me prior to the game that at halftime Booker would have 2 points and CP3 would have 3,
right?
and they were up 30 points. But I tell you what, Suns, I've been 3 times. And they can play.
I really
CP3,
like this.
And I like the movement. Their coach, I can't think of his name. Love him. I think he's very underrated.
Monty Williams is underrated.
He
He's
seems to
been
be very good
successful.
with guards.
Yeah.
CP3 obviously is another coach on the floor. I don't get all caught up in Anthony Davis had a bad night the other night, and the Lakers falling to the tier. Who right now can beat the Lakers in a 7-game series?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking one game, yeah, this isn't the NCAA March Madness. You got to beat me in 7, and I just don't see that happening. Now, Brooklyn, possibly down the road, I think can more cohesiveness.
Right now, if you threw these teams out into a tournament where it was a series, the Lakers are not getting beat.
No.
But I mean, I'm pretty convinced that in the East, those teams are continuing to get better, and I don't think it's going to be as clear as it was in the finals in the bubble that the Lakers were, obviously way better than the Heat. I mean, the Heat had a great team, and I'm not taking anything away from what they did in the bubble. But let's just face it, it was they were overmatched in the finals.
Oh.
And I'm not sure the Lakers are the obvious best team, but I'm not sure that they are that much ahead of who will be representing the Eastern Conference, whether it's Milwaukee or Brooklyn or Boston. I like all those teams, and I think that they can, win a couple games, especially at home. Let's hope the vaccine starts working and there's fans.
That's the thing there. If you're going back and forth between LA and Milwaukee and you're playing a couple, it's this thing with Kentucky. And I don't want to get to that yet. We'll jump that later.
Right.
But with the Lakers, if you're playing in the Forum, or what I call the Forum, whatever it is now, LA Staples Center, showing my age, and you're going, that's a lot. I'm not saying anything that's mind-boggling here.
Right.
Playing with Jack Nicholson on the sidelines and Denzel and the fan, that's a lot different than nobody there. That's an advantage for the Lakers. But I haven't seen anybody, and even Brooklyn, watched them a couple times, and obviously they're going to get better. Love Karis LeVert. Man, what a third option he is.
Yeah, no
it's
doubt.
nuts.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah, they're loaded. If there's 2 teams that are loaded, it's the Lakers and Brooklyn. From top to bottom, they're both loaded. I
think those teams are the deepest teams, no doubt about it. The second 5 for Brooklyn and the second 5 for LA. Those teams can win NBA. You got Kyle Kuzma coming off the bench. Kyle Kuzma,
could start a lot of places.
Yeah, if all of these superstars hadn't migrated to the Eastern Conference, if you put Kyle Kuzma in the Eastern Conference 4 years ago, he's an all-star.
Oh, absolutely.
He's on the all-star team.
Isn't it kind of funny how the East, LeBron leaves the East?
Yeah. And everybody's leaving the West now.
But he's not the greatest of all time.
That's a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about these NBA City jerseys.
I love them, man. I made my list. I got.
So you have them ranked here?
Oh yeah.
Who do you like who's do you like the most? Like who's
Well,
number
I
one
did
on
a
your
top
list?
5,
Okay,
and my favorite one is Denver.
I like Denver.
I love the Denver one, and I'm partial to my Cats player, so
Right,
I'm
and you
going to
love
watch
Jamal
Jamal Murray. Second, another Cats player. I went with Phoenix. I just love that where it says the Valley on there.
I love that
that's
jersey.
Phoenix.
I watched that game last night, and I was like, man, these jerseys are so cold.
They're sick.
They are. I like that design.
Third, I went with Miami. I mean, the
Miami Vice color scheme is never going to get old.
No matter what they do to it, it's cool. Miami Vice was I'm showing my age again. Big time hit in the 80s, and it's still going strong. That's what you call staying power.
The colors this time, the way they did it, where it was like blended in the middle, that just reminds me of those old Lisa Frank school folders that you used to get back in the day with crazy colors and designs. So I was kind of disappointed because I love the color scheme. The last year's Miami Vice color scheme jerseys, dude, those are nasty.
Oh yeah,
I mean, every kid's walking around with Tyler Hero Miami Vice jersey
for sure, no doubt about it. Fourth, I went with Philadelphia. I like the city there on the front of it.
That is a cool
I
thing.
like it a lot, and I didn't pick any white because I'm not a white guy. I don't own anything white. No white shoes, no white dress shirts. I don't even have a white T-shirt.
That's because you're OCD and you don't get it dirty.
Right, and I don't even have a white wife beater.
Wow.
A top, whatever you call it. Fifth, I went with New York. I love where it says the city that never sleeps on there. Kind of get a little in depth on that one. Yeah. I did pick one white one as my follow up as my next 3. That was my top 5. Next 3 just missed the cut.
The baby blue Lakers. Oh,
I like the Pelicans look.
Oh yeah. I like
6 or 7 was Utah. I like the Utah Jazz one. With the little sun kind of at the top there. And then I went with the Lakers white. If it was teal with that white, I'd be jumping all over.
Yeah.
I can't do white, man.
You don't like white.
I just can't. And I think it's an awesome jersey.
It is an awesome jersey. So I like what the Milwaukee Bucks did, changing their colors up. That's supposed to represent water. I'm not sure that Milwaukee's ever going to be known as a city on the water.
That's what me and Griff was trying to figure out the other day because everything's supposed to have some type of tie to it.
Yeah.
And we couldn't figure out what a couple of them were. And I'm glad you said that because that one was throwing me off.
People are piling on the Cleveland thing. Have you seen Cleveland? So each letter has a different font, and that font represents a band.
Oh,
yeah. So one of those fonts is NWA. One of them is Nirvana. Pretty dope, I thought. But they're getting piled on. Everybody's like, nah,
why can't I find
Cleveland's jersey sucks.
Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
I like it. And
I do too.
And their floor looks cool.
Now that I know that, I like it. And that would maybe jump up.
Right.
Just for the meaning of it. Now, one that kind of made it for me was Buzz City. The teal, I don't know where they call it.
I like those.
But man, and my OCD kicks in. I don't have anything I could wear with it.
Well, the color that they went with is kind of like weird. It's a weird color.
It's not the Rex Chapman teal back in the day.
What about? I kind of like the Celtics banner theme for their jersey.
Yeah, that was cool.
Looks like their banner,
and they've got a lot of them. So
but
they have that many.
It's kind of like, how did the Celtics never have a jersey that looks like that until now? Because it looks such. It's such a Celtics jersey.
And that's what I was getting ready to say.
And did Indiana change anything? I'm so disappointed. Indiana City jersey kind of looks like when Chris Mullin and Reggie Miller played for him.
Yeah, I didn't think that was. They didn't go out on a limb.
Yeah. So the NBA City jerseys are pretty cool. And did you know, though, and this is sort of off topic, but Londoners, people in London, were polled as to what NFL jersey was most appealing for the Bengals.
Really? The stripes?
Bengals most popular jersey in London. So that brings us to this.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Who Day. We've won 2 in a row.
It'll be 3 this weekend.
So you're calling a win?
I got a good stat for you. You ready?
All right.
Okay. Since 1993, the Bengals have entered the last game of the season 18 times with a losing record. Do you know what their record is in those 18 games?
I'm going to guess it's very good.
17-1.
Shut up.
Right here, visual proof.
Is it because they're usually playing the division leader who's resting?
I don't know the reason.
But as a Bengal fan, that feels right.
That could be right, but here's the thing: 17 times though they didn't do it.
I agree.
You know what I mean? It didn't happen 17 times when we were like
But
tomorrow. Baltimore has to play.
Hey, Mike, listen, Marvin Lewis, when he had bad seasons, what kept Marvin Lewis employed was that he was winning out.
Hey, what happens
like,
though?
Marvin's
fans question. You know, Marvin's being interviewed by 3 or 4 different NFL teams. So obviously, there's that rumor that he don't know anything. Is not a good coach.
Well,
it's not
he can
true.
Coach.
So what happens when he goes and takes over in Houston, which I hear is a very good chance? Lewis Riddick might be the GM there. Bing, bing, bing. And Deshaun Watson's your QB. Get a good draft in there.
Hey,
J.J. Watson on the other side.
I love J.J. Watt.
Crazy. But yeah, anyway, 1993 all the way to last
that's
year.
Interesting.
And they had the one loss came in 1998 when they were 3-12, and the Buccaneers were 7-8. The Buccaneers beat them 35-0. It's really every other game. There was a lot of these were blowouts.
Hey, so
amazing.
Do we need to win though? How do you feel about that?
At this point, we're not. I mean, we're not really out of the Panay. I guess that's how you say it.
Panay Sewell
sweepstakes because of. I read the mock draft you put up. I read a couple others.
Well, that was a DraftKings mock draft. That was just the first one I saw.
Well, I've seen a couple others that have went quarterback. A lot of quarterbacks before. You know, obviously,
and a lot can happen.
And they said, but a couple of teams ahead of them, Jacksonville has been heavy in tackles the last couple of years off free agency and draft. So you know they're out. I mean, I think if Sewell's there, you got to take him. I love the kid.
Well, yeah,
I would hope that would be the consensus.
That's the dream pick,
and then you
right?
sign a free agent lineman in the offseason.
I'm not going to count on them signing a free agent lineman.
You know what? My history says no.
Yeah.
But last year, they impressed me with what they did, spending money.
They did.
And I don't think that even the Bengals and Mike Brown are silly enough to sit here and think we don't need help on this offensive line to take care of this man who possibly could take us to a Super Bowl. He's that good.
Let's hope.
I mean, that's a lot of hope for me as a Bengals fan. I get it. But and the thing is, the Spain guy, I think Jonah Williams comes back healthy. If you draft Sewell, you have your bookends, you have Hopkins. You let's get a free agent guard or tackle. Spain's going to he's good enough with talent around him to hold his own.
I mean,
I truly believe that.
There were times, and especially lately, there are times that, you know, you look at this offensive line and you're always going to notice that Bobby Hart sucks. But the other guys have created holes for running backs.
The Adeniji kid that they drafted last year. Another thing, remember, I don't know what week it was, but they had all 5 linemen due to COVID or some type of injury was out.
Yeah.
And they was one of the best games of the year they had. So, you know, maybe it's the coaching up thing too. I think you'll see maybe a couple coaching changes there. I don't think anything major because Zach obviously isn't going anywhere. And I don't think
so I was going to ask you that. This pretty much ensures that
I think so.
Yeah. That Zach's coming back. And how do you feel? Do you think he needs to come back? Have you seen enough that
I don't like to be the guy that says, I mean, you know how I am. But,
with firing.
But I think anybody deserves more than 2 years. I think you at least have to give a guy 3 years because in the first year, it's a lot, especially the way they came in late in year 3 or 1. Year 2, you're dealing with a damn pandemic. Excuse my language, a pandemic that threw everything off for everybody. I'm not saying that the Bengals are any bit different than anybody else. It's thrown off everybody. And so I think that's
especially a new offensive line with a new cast of offensive linemen and a new quarterback.
T. Higgins, and you draft in the second round. Your first round, you draft a quarterback. Second round, you draft your new wide receiver. You've got Jonah Williams, who's coming back from a knee injury. AJ Green couldn't go with, everybody. I mean, there was no timing there. So I don't know.
Everybody had that disadvantage.
Yeah. So I agree. But the difference between Zach Taylor in year 2 or Bill Belichick in year 20 and during a pandemic obviously was a lot different. So I think, yes, he deserves another chance.
So week 17, we have we have chances to go to number 3. We're sitting at 6 right now. And I think 6 we're in danger zone of not getting Sewell. Big time danger zone. And a lot of people are like, well, he's generational talent. He's not going to last past 3 or maybe even 2. We're not getting to 2. The Jets have 2 lockdown. Jags have 1 lockdown. But this can happen if the Bengals lose.
If they lose
they lose this game, they can get to 3. But they need help. A lot of help. Eagles, Texans, and Falcons all have to win. And all those are are they winnable games? I don't know. The Texans, I think they play the Titans. The Eagles they're trying to ruin the Washington's playoff hopes.
Chance, yeah.
But, maybe it's possible. The Falcons are.
So what happens if maybe one of those teams lose?
Okay, so if we can get to 4 if the Bengals lose, but we also need a little bit less help. Texans and Eagles both have to win.
Okay, so the 2 of the 3.
2 of the 3, and I don't know that the
so
Texans,
more than likely it's looking. We're going to say it's 6.
I didn't see when we played the Texans, it didn't seem like the Texans could beat the Titans, but who knows? The Bengals beat the Titans.
Well, and Deshaun Watson at any moment can go off. I mean, he's that good,
And maybe the post game pep talk J.J. Watt was giving to his teammates.
And David Johnson, actually, I mean, I know it was against the Bengals, but the Bengals defense has gotten better.
Not the David Johnson that killed us at Young Center this past week. Not that David Johnson.
No. But when you knew that was going to happen because he was a Kentucky kid and all that crap.
All right, so we can get to 5, 1 spot up.
And I think you're still in the sweepstakes there.
If we lose and the Eagles win.
Okay.
And I would if I were picking games, I would pick the Eagles to win because I feel like Washington's starting. Who are they starting at quarterback? It's not Dwayne Haskins. They let him go. It's not Alex Smith. He can't go. Hurt. I don't even know who this dude they're starting is. Can't remember his name.
I don't. Yeah.
I think the
What
Eagles
about LA starting a guy that's never played a single down of NFL football?
So I'm saying the Bengals will be at 5 after week 17. Okay. That's my guess. But well,
let me ask you a question. If Sewell's gone, if we pick at 4, 5, or 6, let's say he goes in the top 3.
I really like Kyle Pitts, tight end from Florida.
I knew you was going to say that.
I really like him.
I do too. I read an interesting thing before I came down, though, that tight ends in the first round, they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Successfully.
Right.
And most of your big success guys have been second or later, or some even free agent pick. I mean, Antonio Gates, think of how good he was. They went all the way back to Tony Gonzalez.
Right.
Was the last time a top 15 pick or whatever has turned out to be what he was supposed to be. So that I think Pitts is great. He can line up his receiver spot too.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we need any more offensive skill help.
I would like a tight end. And I agree. I think we have offensive.
I think Uzomah signed for a couple years. I'm not saying he's great.
Drew Sample.
I think Sample's gotten better. I really do.
But he's really slow to progress. Yeah. He's been really slow to progress.
Second year.
Yeah. Maybe Sample's.
Maybe they like Sample a lot.
I just think, especially if we're at 5 or 6.
Now, if you give me a free agent tackle or a free agent guard, I have no problem with Pitts. But if you don't do anything there, and then if you go get
so there's not any offensive linemen right now, but a lot can happen because that seems to shake out in Senior Bowl for offensive linemen.
But there's a lot of good. There's about 15 that are going to be free agents. And I'm not talking. Some of these are high tier. The Thuney guy, however you said. There's some really good. Peter, the guy from San Francisco, some really top notch guys. But then there's some guys
yeah.
How much more do you need to improve the Bengals? You may not have to go out and get something crazy.
If you're going offensive line in the draft and you don't get Sewell, if he's already gone by the time you pick, and there's no offensive lineman ranked in the top, 10 players available, I don't know if the Bengals would be interested in trading down. I don't know historically if they look at those things.
They have. They've made some draft Marvin they did
trades.
Let me ask you if the wide receiver from Alabama is available,
Devontae
and
Smith,
Pitts is available.
I just don't.
Who do you take?
I don't think Devontae Smith's getting past the Jets.
I'm just saying big, humongous, bold print letters.
Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase, I think, are instant impact guys for whatever.
If Chase is there, don't you take him? If Sewell's gone, don't you take Chase just because of the relationship?
My brother-in-law, Dylan, just texted me and said, got to take Jamar Chase. And maybe with Burrow being there, Jamar Chase is the dude that we should get. But
I'm telling you,
I just
chemistry and relationship, and that's huge. It's so huge.
Yeah. He's built a good relationship with T. Higgins. It
Yeah, he
seems
has.
like good connection. And Tyler Boyd just continues to get better. So, yeah, so draft, it's probably going to be pick 5 or 6. Let's just and I've been doing this, and I've done it several times in my my career as a Bengals fan. There are times where I hope the Bengals lose, and I will watch the game and cheer against them from scoring. Although I want to see the players do well in the end.
Yeah, I know.
Let's get that L, and let's get a good pick.
If we do win, is 6 the worst we can fall?
If we win,
Yeah, if we win
6.
So we're going to be somewhere between 4 and 6.
Probably.
Okay.
I think there are some other things that can happen where we drop.
But it's a lot
because
of
the Bengals tied with the Eagles.
right.
So I don't know how that works. I mean, the Eagles are 7, so and there's some other 5-win teams.
Do you think if Joe Burrow don't get hurt, the Bengals have 2 to 3 more wins?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know.
I think because me and Griff was talking about it, and Griff said he thinks they beat Dallas with Joe Burrow.
Yeah. You could say that. Maybe one more win. I
think we had them at 2. What are they now? 4? So then they would have been at 6 with going into this last week.
Yeah.
I think I said 7.
So we got to move on to other NFL teams that actually matter in Week 17. The NFL. I have my NFL power rankings. I have my 5 that I really like right now as Super Bowl contenders.
I got my 5 as well.
Well, let's talk about number 5. Who you got as your number 5?
I have the Seahawks.
Oh, the Seattle Seahawks. I do not have them in my top 5.
And just outside, just so you know,
yeah,
Baltimore was in my 6.
Well, Baltimore's hot.
Yeah,
but
they're going to
this is
cooled
why
down tomorrow by the Bengals.
This is why I can't.
Sunday. I'm sorry.
This is why I can't put Baltimore in my top 5. I don't trust them come playoffs because they don't play from behind very well. They're a run heavy team. When you're gotta make plays, down the field, 25, 30 yards down the field, you got to start getting chunks. They struggle.
Good point.
And what they did against the Titans last year in the playoffs, I can't put them in the top 5, and they're never going to be in my top 5 until maybe they're in the top 4.
Well, they were number 6 in mine, not top 5.
Okay. So,
but I had the Seahawks at 5,
and I have the New Orleans Saints.
They're
and they should. A lot of people that I watch, they have the Saints higher, and they probably have the best all around team, like as far as talent on both sides of the ball
and special teams
teams. You know what I'm saying? They just have a wealth of talent, but I got to see Drew Brees another week before I can trust that his ribs are healthy and his health is.
Well,
is
again,
full.
Sean Payton has won 1 Super Bowl, but he's also lost a couple games that were questionable as
Yeah.
well. I mean, I know they had the bad luck in Minnesota.
I
with
like
that
how
call,
Sean Payton.
I like him, but I mean, there's always going to be that
You're right.
cloud or whatever hanging over your head a little bit.
So you have the Saints at 4.
I had Saints at 4 for pretty much the same reasons you did, and I didn't move him up because I'm really struggling with Drew. He doesn't look right.
He didn't look right.
But he's been back 2 games or one.
One.
And he looked a lot better in the second half
Yeah.
than he did the first. Obviously, I know it's a huge injury, especially for a quarterback with
Right.
ribs. But
Right.
I just, man, they can't win without him.
No.
Tatum Hill, whatever. Taysom Hill, whatever.
Taysom Hill is
He's
just
not. He
Drew
can't lead them
Brees.
to the. He can't beat Green Bay. So
No, I saw enough from Taysom Hill to know that he's probably just going to be a backup.
and how bad though is Jameis Winston though? If
There's some
didn't
theories out there
Man,
that they don't want to show Jameis Winston.
okay, because I haven't.
And
that
there's
really,
some theories that because of the salary for Taysom Hill,
he's the finger licking man.
Yeah. he wants to eat a W.
Eat a W.
But Taysom Hill's contract, that's why they gave the opportunity to Taysom Hill.
Gotcha.
That he was promised that he would be the next guy.
And then Winston's only on a 1-year deal anyway. So
I think Jameis Winston will probably move somewhere else, and maybe he has a good career. I don't know, but I haven't seen enough from him.
could he
To
go
know.
to New England? Could Belichick pull him in?
Yeah,
Because I think the Cam deal's done. I don't think Newton's
Cam's done.
back, and Stidham's not the answer.
Still trust Stidham or not? I don't know why they would.
I mean, so that they draft somebody, or does he go out and try to get a Carson Wentz? Make a big deal.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe Jimmy Garoppolo becomes available.
And he comes home.
Then he comes back.
Possible.
All right, so who you got at 3?
Number 3, I got
team.
the Buffalo Bills.
I got the Bills too.
Josh Allen's the real deal, man.
They're hot.
And they are
fuego,
as my boy Dan Patrick would say.
Dude, that connection between Allen and Stephon Diggs is something special right now.
It is. They got a very good defense.
Oh, yeah.
Their coach is young and he's innovative.
Love it.
The players seem to love playing for him. They're good on all 3 sides of the ball. They got good special teams, got good kick returner, field goal kicker, punter. I mean, they're pretty much
exciting.
I think, though, if I'm having to pick with who I have ahead of them, I'm taking those 2 quarterbacks before Josh Allen.
So we have the same 2 and 1. The Packers at 2.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, he's been out of this world.
He's my MVP.
Okay. So that was going to be my next topic. Let's just cover this real quick.
Okay.
But we both have Packers, and then we both have Chiefs.
I think the Packers and Chiefs meet in the Super Bowl.
That would be my pick too. I think it's going to be tough, though. I really like how the Bucs are turning on, and I think the Bucs are underrated on the defensive side.
I agree. Difference is they're going to be playing in Green Bay, as opposed to in the sunny Tampa.
Green Bay, as we saw in their last game, that's a different place.
Dude, I went into that game the other night having a chance to win the AFL game.
Yeah.
Very excited. Congratulations, Garrett Creech and Griffin Appleman.
Garrett Creech, actually, he's following. He's commenting.
And
what's up, Garrett?
So congratulations,
and
Garrett Creech and Garrett Appleman. Thank you for joining us. But Garrett Creech handled me.
Yeah, he did.
I got handled.
Yeah.
And, of course, Josh Allen, I think, went for 122, his best game of the year.
Yeah.
So, anyway, with that being said, I went into that game thinking, oh, man, I have no chance in the world. They're not going to throw the ball. They're going to run it all. Boom, he comes out. Dang, dang, dang. Yep. I mean, so they can do it. I love Green Bay. I mean, I was a big Brett Favre fan, grew up watching the Packers.
Rodgers and Adams have something special right now. But the Chiefs are the number 1 team until somebody knocks them off. Exactly, and they looked more human than they ever have.
But when they look bad, they still find a way to make it I never felt they were going to lose, really, even when they were down 14.
That's because Mahomes never believes they're going to lose.
Oh, I mean, he's just
as long as he can get on the field.
I know we throw this around a lot when we say generational.
Yeah.
But if there's anybody generational, it's that cat.
We're living through what might be the most talented and skilled quarterback that I've ever watched.
Yeah. And a lot. I mean, think about it, though. Deshaun Watson, how good is he?
He's great. And
I mean, there's a lot of really good quarterbacks in this league right now.
Russell Wilson's great, but Rodgers and Mahomes, I think they might be 2 of the best that I've ever watched. They for sure 2 of the best that I've ever watched. But as far as skill, they have different. They're just different.
Yeah,
they're just different. Okay, so let's move on to the NFL MVP. So you have Rodgers.
Yeah, I would pick, and I did some research, and the big thing with me is Mahomes is
what's setting Rodgers apart?
Mahomes has passed the ball 86 more times.
Yeah.
So obviously with that many more attempts, the yardage is different. Yeah. He has 4,740 yards. Rodgers has 4,059, but Rodgers has more touchdowns
and one less pick.
One less pick. The thing with me on Aaron is before the season when they drafted the quarterback, oh my God, these experts said, what are they doing? They have to give him some help. He has no help. And I agree.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, outside of that, think about it. We all heard of Valdez-Scantling because we played fantasy football. Yep. Nobody knew who Alan Lazard was. Nobody knew who Robert Tonyan was. Nobody knew.
Dude, Big Bob Tonyan is a beast.
He is. He's a stud. A.J. Dillon coming in and playing. Jamal Williams, I knew who he was. So we knew 2 guys. Yep. Think about the weapons over in Kansas City. Edwards-Helaire, first-round draft pick. You bring in Le'Veon Bell. You got Darrell Williams, Tyreek Hill, Demarcus Robinson, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce.
Tight end.
In the history. He's having a historic number. Now, so at the beginning of the year, everybody's like, oh, this might be Aaron's last year. They drafted a quarterback.
Right.
Him and the head coach don't get along.
Right.
He has no weapons. So with that being said, we can't come back now and say, oh, man, look at all these weapons. because he's having a great year. In 2011, his QBR was 84.5.
Wow.
This year, it's 83.9, the second best of his career in his whatever now 17th season or whatever it is.
Right.
One thing that kind of makes me not want to go with Rodgers is there is a significant difference, and I guess it comes with the attempts, is Mahomes is 316 yards per game where Aaron Rodgers is right at 270.
Mahomes is slinging that thing.
Right.
I mean, he's throwing it deep to Mecole Hardman. He's throwing it deep to Robinson. Kelsey's hitting chunks. And then Tyreek Hill's a dynamic playmaker.
And that perfect marriage between Mahomes and an offensive genius.
I'm not going to be mad either way. I'm not going to be mad.
Oh, I won't either. I won't either. But I think Aaron
But I do think Aaron Rodgers having the problem, arguably his best offensive statistical career numbers. You got to give him.
Let me ask you this:
and only 5 picks is insane.
Okay, question. If tomorrow or
Sunday,
I don't know why I think it's today Saturday. We normally do this on Friday.
Yeah.
If Sunday Aaron Rodgers got hurt and couldn't play in the playoffs, and Patrick Mahomes got hurt and couldn't play in the playoffs, which team goes further with their backup and with their coaching and their schemes?
It's definitely the Chiefs have they have better talent.
That's
I don't think either one of them goes in.
I don't either, but I think that's another reason I give Rodgers, because I think he's the most valuable. I think he's more valuable to the team.
That's hard to argue.
And Mahomes, I mean, my gosh, what he does is incredible.
So who's third? Who do you think's third? Josh Allen?
I think he's worked himself into it, and I think
Josh Allen's got
Derrick
pretty
Henry
good
at the
numbers.
beginning of the year was kind of in the talk, but he's kind of fallen back a little
Who's
bit.
that?
Derrick Henry. I think, honestly, I looked up Tom Brady's numbers, and
Tom Brady's just outside, I think, the top 4.
I do too. And if you look at his numbers, 569 attempts at 40 years old, so obviously he can still sling it. Now, they say he doesn't have
the deep
ball, but he's had 2 touchdowns of 50 yards. Now, I don't know. I didn't watch him, so it may have been a 10-yard pass and they ran.
I watch a lot of the red zone, and Tom Brady's getting better at throwing deep passes. And I think maybe it's because his receivers are so good.
His QBR is lower. It's 71.9, but his rating is 101.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to the rating of
Rodgers' rating
is 119 and Mahomes is 108.2. So it's not like Tom's setting the world on fire, but we wouldn't even be talking about Tampa Bay
if Tom Brady wasn't there.
Because they're going to either keep Jameis, which they probably don't, or they get somebody else, a rookie or another free agent, and So I think tip to Tom Brady, man. I mean, he's had a heck of a season.
You got to give it to Tom. Tom's played. He's played a really good season, and he's kind of tilted that scale toward him as to the old argument between who gets more credit, Bill Belichick or Tom Brady.
And I like when you said Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay, Green Bay, NFC Championship.
What a game!
That'd be a heck of a game.
Glued to my TV.
Yes, not leaving the couch.
So I'm going to go with Rodgers as well. I mean, it's hard to argue against Mahomes. Like I said, either way, I'm not going to be mad. Derrick Henry, I think, has had a special year. I mean, he's got 15 touchdowns and almost 1,800 yards. And
honestly, the thing with Travis Kelce in there, if you really honestly wanted to.
Travis Kelce's had the best year of any tight end
in the history of tight ends.
That's pretty remarkable.
I mean, he's over 1,400 yards.
I think with Henry, he's got almost 1,800 yards, and 3 out of the 4 downs that he runs, 3 out of his 4 carries, the defense knows that he's going to carry the ball.
Right. Yeah. There's 8 in the box.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's truck sticking guys. He's getting through the line. His vision's incredible. His cutbacks seem like they're getting better. I got Derrick Henry in the top 4 of the MVP discussion.
I would definitely put him there.
He's been the best running back all year. Kamara, that's no slight on Kamara, because what he did on Christmas was crazy. But let's move on. And I don't know how much time you want to spend on this, because it's getting really maddening. But the Louisville game with UK, like, what can you say about? Let's first talk about the end of the game. So a lot of people are one of my things I wrote down here is everyone's piling on Cal.
Yeah,
for everything. It's not just Dante Allen. It's not just, his combinations of players that are on the floor.
The way he coaches, the way he recruits,
right?
The way he takes his garbage out was even commented on the other night.
Nice, yeah. So people are piling on him for his outfits.
Yeah, I will say I did pull that one off. Come on, Coach, tuck your shirt in.
So you didn't like that?
The untucked shirt?
Yeah.
Oh, did you think I did?
I know.
When you saw it, what'd you think? As soon as you saw it.
As soon as I saw him wearing a button up from Dillard's, untucked, I thought, oh, Mike's going to hate this.
Yeah, I was very upset.
But I like Swaggy Cal. I think he came.
I love Swaggy Cal. I love that. And I think what he said yesterday, I don't believe for a second that he don't read some of this stuff.
Right.
But he says he don't. He hopes everybody's piling on him, and everybody is. But I think it's ridiculous. I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
I think you all are stupid.
Yeah. So so the last play of the game, do you think that was obviously it was a play call. I mean, they called that play.
I think Cal called. Here's what I think.
A naked pick and pop.
He wanted Sarr to take that shot.
Uh-huh.
And he makes that shot.
His confidence
goes 1,000 miles in the air because he missed a shot against Notre Dame. You beat Louisville. You called the play for me. Because Sarr went to him this week and said, Coach, do you still believe in me? I mean, that kid, something, whatever it is, he's not playing the way he did in ACC.
If he'd have said that to Coach Todd, I'd have been like, no, I don't, bro. I'm sorry. But no, I don't believe in you. But anyway, I think it was a call. I think it was naked pick and pop on the right. Sarr got open. He missed the shot. But my rebuttal to what you just said would be every game's the biggest must-win game of the year especially this past Saturday. I just don't know that you go to a guy in a must-win game that hasn't hit a shot in 80 minutes.
Not saying I agree with it, but I think that's what Cal did. And
right.
I think Cal said, you
right.
know what? We're going to live or die with it.
If we're going
if I'm drawing it up, I'm going to Devion Mintz. I'm giving him the shot.
Yeah. I don't have anything wrong with that. I mean, I don't like going with a jump shot from a 7-footer to win a game, unless that 7-footer is Dirk Nowitzki. But
I'll take Anthony Davis.
I'm not going to say, what kind of play call I would call or what kind of play call Cal should have called. I wasn't happy with the play call. I mean, if he hits it, then I'm like, all right, let's go. Sarr's going to, like you said, his confidence is coming back.
I think Cal was trying to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people who don't think that Cal's mad because they're 1-6 are insane.
Yeah.
I think people that, think it's just nothing but an NBA factory for him are insane. And I don't care who you are. My dad, I told him, you're insane for thinking that.
Right.
The guy loves to win. I mean, you can tell how competitive he is. I would not have called that for him.
Right.
I understand if he did what I think he did, I understand why he did it. And I think sometimes helping the kid is bigger at that moment because it can propel him into something else. And I don't think they can do anything. I don't think they can do anything the rest of this season unless that kid can be 10-8, 12-8. I don't think he needs to be scored 20 a game. But
I don't know, man. I don't think Sarr is the kind of player to get 12-8 at Kentucky. I think he's the kind of player to get, 15-10 at a different college. Kentucky's just a different animal, man. There's a lot of pressure. You're playing for a coach that
the dude's supposed to be extremely smart. His work ethic has never been questioned. Danny Manning loved the kid.
I mean, Sarr seems like an incredible human being. He seems like he wants to be a kind of a leader. He's vocal. You can now that there's no fans in the stands, you can hear who's vocal on the court. Sarr's vocal, but I kind of think his playing time should probably decrease a little bit more.
Who takes it though?
I would go with Toppin right now. I mean, I think Toppin and Jackson wouldn't be a bad combination with, whatever three you want. I think Askew's playing better, and Mintz is playing. Mintz is the one that I think is playing with anxiety. He's playing with urgency. he's playing with a chip on
and
his
a little
shoulder.
more consistency. He's pretty consistent each game
And
out. Too.
I like
the thing
Vince's
about
attitude.
Kentucky, though, man. I mean, we can all say it, but the fact of the matter is they are the last ranked team in Pomeroy luck category.
Right.
They've had terrible, terrible luck. If Sarr makes both of those shots, they are 3 and 4 instead of 1 and 6. And think about this: what if
I didn't know that luck was a stat?
I didn't either until I started looking at it. Man, it's crazy. But what about this though?
Yeah.
What if they? Because they had a chance to beat Kansas. What if they beat Kansas? And then they come out and that next game was Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably a little more pumped up because you beat Kansas.
Yeah.
But let's say you lose Kansas because Kansas is really good. But you beat Notre Dame because of the shot, and Sarr wins the game. So then next week, you're a little more pumped up. There's not as much urgency to win against North Carolina. Maybe you play with a little less pressure. And I mean, I just don't think this team is 1 and 6, but people say your record is what it is.
Yeah.
So I guess
Denny Green would say you are who you are.
Well, he would, but that's why he didn't win very many games.
Let's not pile on Cal.
No, I don't. I
don't want to do that, but I do want to get into something that everyone's piling on him for, and that's Dante's playing time, which is nothing right now.
19 minutes.
19 minutes total.
Yeah.
And to be fair to Cal, he came in. Was it against Kansas where he had a couple turnovers?
Yeah, he had 3 turnovers in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, that wasn't something that you wanted to see, especially with that many guys on the depth chart at guard.
Right.
That's not something you want to see. Now, I will say against Louisville, I felt like in the first half there were opportunities to get Dante in, and he kept sticking with his rotation of 4 guys on the perimeter. And I'm not sure. Maybe he feels that he's trying to get Terrence Clark out of a slump. He's trying to get B.J. Boston more comfortable with the pace and the flow of the game at that level. But at what point do you say, I got to try Dante. I got to see if Dante can make shots?
Well, I guess it comes this week.
Well, that's what they're saying.
That's what he said. I read that he scrimmaged pretty well last night against Transy. He was 7 of 10 from the 3.
Who won?
Well, I'm assuming Kentucky did. Nobody
said. Hey, if they didn't say.
Kyle Tucker said that Kentucky won, but the score wasn't kept.
Okay.
And then he also said, if you want to look up on his post, that there was a lot of talk where Dante did not play very good defense in the first half, and that there was a lot of coaching and yelling and screaming about that. But then he played much better in the second half. I have any kind of insiders, but I do listen to the pregame shows, and Jack Gibbons has said several times he's taken over for Rex Chapman in that row. That when he's been at practice, that there is an issue with Dante in defense.
Okay.
Now this is coming from Jack Gibbons, the goose.
Now,
let us send it now. He also said that part of the problem is the knee.
Okay.
He doesn't think
his lateral quickness.
It's not that it's not healed. He can't push off the way they want him to.
Okay.
From a defensive side to side standpoint. That's what Jack Gibbons said 2 Saturdays ago, I think, maybe because he was kind of taking that for Cal. And I love Dante. My son played for him. Griffin played with him, excuse me. I got to see him play a lot of games. He's a tremendous scorer, but let's be realistic. And I love Augusta. But going up against a forward at Augusta when you're playing Pendleton County and Augusta is not the same. And they're scheduled. They did not have a great schedule. And when you left Pendleton County games, you didn't leave there going, man, Keaton Belcher and the Wildcats are great defensively. You just didn't leave there. So if there are some, they scored the ball. He did what he wanted to do. He was tremendous. I'm not taking anything away from him. Tremendous player.
Yeah.
But I think if Dante was being honest with you, I don't think defense was at the top of the.
I don't know. I mean,
when I watched him play, could he block shots? Yes. Could he lock somebody down when he wanted to? Yeah. But it wasn't something that when I watched him play many, many games,
so
that it was something from beginning to end that it looked like to me that it was a concentration. I'm going to be a lockdown defender. I can do this.
Dante's whole career before Kentucky, there were so many comparisons between he and Darius Miller.
Yes.
And I didn't necessarily agree with those.
I never understood it, to be honest with you.
I thought Dante had a different pace that he played with. I thought Darius played a lot more on the block in high school than Dante did. But now that Dante is at Kentucky, I feel like if he just does what Darius did his freshman year, which was find his niche, play his role, and continue to get better on the defensive end. And by the time Darius was in the middle of his sophomore year, you could count on Darius to guard a pretty good perimeter player of the opponents. And
Right.
And maybe it's way too early.
I agree.
To say Dante can't play defense. He's just a freshman, and like you said,
I'm not saying he cannot play defense. Yeah. That's not what I was saying.
He just has to get better.
Yes.
And I think he will. And I think he's going to get better on defense, and I think he'll have a great career at Kentucky if he's at Kentucky.
Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, Kentucky fans need to realize something. A 5-star player, whether it's Anthony Davis, Terrence Clark, Cat, Devin Booker, whoever, they're going to get more leeway.
Yeah.
They're going to get more shot opportunities. They're going to get more chances to turn the ball. They're going to get more chances to get blown away on defense than whether it's Dante or anybody else. That's just the way life is. When Dante played at Pendleton County, for you Pendleton County fans, he was allowed to make more mistakes than Grant Walsh. He was allowed to play. He was allowed to. When my son was a sophomore, I promise you, he was allowed to make more mistakes than Griffin was. So look at it from that standpoint. Yes, I want Dante to play. I think he can help us offensively, and I love your Darius Miller relation there. If he can find that niche, he's going to be here. Yeah. I don't think Dante needs to transfer. All these people. Oh, he'd be playing at Western. He'd be playing at Northern. He could. Excuse me. Dante could have went to Western.
Yeah,
they were heavily recruiting him,
and he'd be doing really well.
And he would. But how do you know though?
Well,
we don't know that. We don't know that. We would think that maybe Stansbury would play him, but they've got a really good rotation. Just because he's a Kentucky kid doesn't mean that Stansbury would put him in the game.
Okay, so I want to just address one thing with Dante, and that's the part where the Goose has said there is an issue with him on defense. And I think that's glaringly obvious to just the casual fan. When Dante's gotten in there, you know that he's not as good defensively as maybe a Terrence Clark or a BJ Boston. Well, I think that's debatable, but BJ Boston has the length and the athleticism and all that. But against Louisville, we played zone. We played zone. Like
I didn't understand Cal's comment.
Better opportunity to get Dante in there.
Not playing him in the second half because he didn't play him in the first half. I've never heard that. Been around the game a long time. My father coached for 30 years. I can't understand that
either, man.
But if that,
let's
that's
move
what
on,
he does. He does. So
let's move on because we could spend all night talking about Dante.
But I wish him the best of luck. I hope that
he's going to
goes
do well, man. I hope he don't transfer.
Oh, I don't. I think Saturday he'll knock down a few shots, and if he can get his confidence go, because it's the same thing in anything.
Yeah,
you hit a few shots on offense, you're down on defense. Hey, I want to get back down on the offense quick. I want to hunker down and play a little harder. You know.
All right, so we got to move on here from the UK talk, and we're going to get into our picks.
Yes.
How
was I last week?
You were not good.
Oh gosh.
You were 1-5.
Oh.
And listen, so first week you were 5-1. I was 1-5. Second week I'm 5-1. You're 1-5.
So we're
now 6-6. And I've got 7 games we're going to pick.
That's hilarious, man. I was really sitting on top of cloud 9.
There's not a lot of college basketball going on, but there 3 games stuck out to me. In 2 are tonight, I believe. The first 2, North Carolina and Georgia Tech play. Both teams have beat Kentucky, so I thought that was interesting. North Carolina's favored 3 at Georgia Tech.
I'll take the Heels.
You will take the Heels.
Yeah. I really like Roy Williams. I'm not a big fan of Josh Pastner.
And I'm going to take the Heels. I think 3 points, they can cover that.
I do too.
And Georgia Tech, their big boy punished Kentucky. And what I saw from North Carolina's bigs is enough to see that they're going to overcome that.
Yeah, and they've got multiple
Kentucky
bigs
couldn't
too.
overcome.
Right.
K-Bot or whatever his
They
name
can throw
is.
a couple different people at him.
He tore us up. The second game, Tennessee -3.5 at Missouri. This is number 7 going to number 12.
I think they're the 2 best teams in SEC.
I think, yeah, for sure.
And they're going to Missouri.
They're going to Mizzou.
I'm going to go with Mizzou. I think Mizzou.
They're number 12.
Okay, so they're that far up. Okay,
and
what's
Tennessee's
Tennessee?
number 7.
Ooh, 7 and 12, and that's tonight.
Yeah, I believe so. I'll have to check.
Okay, we'll look. See, I'm going to be watching.
It has to be tonight if there's a line.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Okay, gotcha.
So Tennessee is -3.5, and I will say there are only Baylor, Gonzaga, and maybe North Carolina. There are only 3 or 4 teams that I think can hang with Tennessee. I think Tennessee's 15 points better than anybody in the SEC.
You think they're that good?
I think they're that dang good, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm taking UT. And shout out to Chris Lofton. Game number 3, UK goes to Mississippi State on Saturday. There isn't a line on this, so I'm going to set the line.
Okay.
There's not a line yet. I'm going to say Mississippi State's favored 1.5.
Well, I'm taking the Cats. I don't care what the score is.
Okay. I'm taking Mississippi State.
Cats are going to win this weekend, and not because I'm a homer. I really think they will come out and play well.
And in the game.
Tonight at 9:00, Tennessee and Missouri.
Yeah. So good ball game on tonight.
So you're going to be that Bengals fan that sat up there until they won?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going against the Cats until they win.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I'm up on the billboard with Wildman Walker. I'm up on the billboard with Wildman Walker until Kentucky can win. All right.
Okay.
We're going to go with 4 football games. College football. Cincy, UC going against Georgia in their bowl game. Georgia's -7.
Luke Fickell and the Bearcats with the upset, baby.
Yeah.
They're going to tell people how good they are. Hey, Luke Fickell came from my boy Urban. I don't really like the Bearcats.
Yeah.
But I can go with Little Fickell.
Well, listen, I'm going to change my mind from what I said the last podcast about people not respecting the Bearcats. They didn't play well in there against it.
No, they didn't. They've been off
against
for a few
Tulsa.
weeks. Been off for 3 weeks.
And I think that hurt their offense a lot. But so I'm going to go with the Dogs. I can't see Cincinnati beating Georgia as bad as I want them to beat Georgia and just prove all of the college football playoff committee guys wrong. But I'm going to go with the Dogs. Okay.
The COVID year.
It might. Georgia's not lay an egg.
Yeah.
So
several.
UK is -2. They're favored by 2 against NC State in their bowl game.
I'm going to go with the Cats.
Of course you are.
They read some stuff where Joey Gatewood's been throwing the ball really well in practice.
I'm going with Kentucky too. There ain't no way. I don't know if North Carolina State was playing. Who knows who? It doesn't matter. North Carolina State's in a bowl game. I'm not picking them.
No, I didn't even know they had a football team.
All right, Notre Dame.
No, I did. Actually.
Notre Dame is getting 19 points.
It should be 39.
Yeah. So you're taking Bama.
Yeah.
You're laying the 19.
Yes.
I'm laying the 19.
I'm gonna lay 29.
Yeah, I kind of.
You know when your coach comes out and kind of says at the beginning of the week, well, we've had some bad luck, and we're just happy to be here.
Bama 53-17, and Notre Dame scores a late touchdown to get 17. Ohio State.
Sounds good. Now, you really got to ask this question. You know what's going. I'm going where here? I'm going my Buckeyes. Man.
You are going with Ohio State.
Yeah,
they're getting 7.5 points.
That's okay. Yeah,
and
we're going to win by 4 or 5 and shut Dabo up.
I hate Dabo.
Oh my God, shut up, dude.
I cannot stand this guy.
But you know what I'll say? Hey,
he's good.
When you build a program and you win national championships,
you can say whatever
you can talk however you want. And he does.
And he does. And maybe I should respect that a little
I respect that part of it, but I still want you to shut up.
Yeah. Let's see.
OSU, the Ohio State.
We got some different picks here, so. But I'm gonna go with Clemson just to make it different. Let's try to set myself apart in the standings.
I think Justin Fields comes out and has a really good game. He didn't play real well in the Big Ten championship. I think he's going to be healed and injury free, and the Buckeyes are going to pull the upset.
Cool. Hey, so to finish things off, I've got a story again.
Cool.
But first, I want to address the fact that our stream ended a little quick last time, and the story didn't get to finish. I apologize, but you can find that story on my blog, and I'll put that link up.
It's
on
very
my Facebook
interesting.
and on my
I was
Twitter.
very intrigued.
Basically, man, there's some people that think there are giants built that are buried under Augusta, and perhaps some people in the past came to Augusta on the winter solstice to try to invoke spirits from those giants for guidance. A weird little historical thing for Augusta. Speaking of history, which I love.
Yes.
I've got a little story here, and it goes a little something like this. You may be surprised to know that footballs were originally inflated pig bladders inside a leather cover. Or maybe you're surprised that Naismith originally used soccer balls with his peach baskets. There are many balls in sport. Most are round, some are oval, or even oblong. The inventions of these balls are historical, but perhaps that's more to do with the sport's popularity. None of these balls can match the unique and genius invention of the shuttlecock. Games employing shuttlecocks have been played for centuries across Europe and Asia, but the shuttlecock is best known for being the focus of badminton, which was developed in mid-19th century Britain. The name badminton comes from the Duke of Beaufort's badminton house in Gloucestershire.
Nice.
The genius of the shuttlecock comes long before the sport of badminton, though. There are ancient Greek drawings of shuttlecocks that are 2,000 years old. The Chinese had a game referred to as shuttlecock around the same period, but games employing shuttlecocks are said to go back as far as 5th century BC, around the time the pyramids were said to have been constructed.
Egypt?
The Egyptian pyramids. The shuttlecock is described as a high drag projectile. It has a cone shape formed by feathers embedded into a rounded cork. Pretty genius invention, especially considering its alleged dated history. But what is also genius is the word shuttlecock. Compound words are often found in sport: basketball, football, baseball. But this is named for its motion and the feathers of a chicken, or its more fun nickname, cock. You may have grown up calling it a birdie, like I did. At Easter, playing badminton with my family.
After the Easter egg hunt.
That's right. So, in conclusion, my hope is that sports using unique ingenuity like the shuttlecock will somehow become more popular. It's a fun word. I like fun words, as you may know from the now removed episode 1 of this podcast. So please, going forward, when inventing sports, more shuttlecocks and less balls.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to Mad Mike and A-Town Toby episode 3.
We enjoyed it.
Please stay tuned to see when the next podcast is, hopefully next Friday. There's some conflict with schedule because I'm also coaching. So the time and date may vary, but like always, thanks for listening. We'll upload this podcast to the Toddcast YouTube page very soon.
Go
and you
Big
can
Blue.
watch it. Thank you.
See you guys.
Did you like that?